Before you listen to the show, be sure to subscribe to us on iTunes. Easy, just click the podcast app, type in our name, In the Hunt, and you'll see us. Also, listen to us on Podbean as well. Follow us on Twitter at MIA In the Hunt. Topher Cochran's Twitter handle is Cochran108. Jake Mendel's Twitter handle is at JMendel94. Dolphins won. Listen to Jake kind of badger Topher for his losing prediction. Let's start the show.
The In the Hunt podcast is back. I'm Jake Mendel, Topher Cochran, and Topher, how dare you? How dare you have the audacity to not think the Dolphins would go to New York, make Darnold look so foolish, and leave MetLife Stadium with a win?
I wanted to win, Jake. Like, I wanted the Dolphins to win. It's not like I didn't want them to win. Like, right. I wasn't sitting there at home, like, just, beating off to losses. I was happy they won. It was just like, you don't expect them to do something like that. And by the way, I don't mean to crap on your parade, Jake. But like, I kind of left the game. I was happy they won, but I was like, I wanted more. If that makes, I wanted. There was room for more. And it's kind of similar to like when you go to a good restaurant, and you pay a decent price, but you still wanted some more food, and you're still hungry.
It's like they just hired a new chef after you've been going somewhere for 30 years, and you're used to the type of food you're gonna get. See, you make a really good point, but our podcast kind of explains why you shouldn't be too upset, because the Dolphins, as we've been saying all offseason, people think they're a playoff team. People think they're the worst team in the league. They're somewhere in the middle. There are going to be times that the Dolphins have games where, you don't score 20 points in a half. And the fact that you could go to a division rival, not score any points in an entire second half, and win, I'll take it. You're right. There's a lot left on the table, a lot left to be desired, but you went to New York, you faced, we could say, the hottest team in football after that Monday night performance. I get it's only 1 week, but I'm cool with it. Like, yeah, I'd love to see more, but let's start there. Topher, before we get too negative, I want you
We're not going to get negative!
I want you to say one nice thing.
I just had coffee!
I want you to say one nice thing about the
Dolphins. I think the defense is good. I think it's good. It's not it kind of reminds me of how they were playing against Seattle.
Mm-hmm.
That's what it looked like to me when they were playing against Seattle, like containing their quarterbacks, and taking away what they're good at. And so they're like
really good at it too.
And that's it. And the secondary is legit. Like, I haven't seen anything from Xavier Howard, and that's the reason. And that's because no one's thrown it to him.
I don't think I just checked the Jets game. He didn't have a tackle yesterday, and you're right, because literally I think there was a couple routes where it might have been like a zone coverage where Howard may have, I don't want to say got beat, but there was a reception 12, 15 yards. But he didn't have a single tackle. It's because nobody wants to throw his way.
Yeah, like when he got that pick, I had to think for a second. Is that Xavier Howard?
Did you? Who else would have done that?
No, because I haven't heard his name in in 2 days, because it's not like he's not playing bad, but like it's just a product of no one throwing it to his side. And that's really it. And so that's the good thing is Xavier Howard. The secondary has been amazing. Minka is single-handedly destroying these screen passes that these teams are running.
It's beautiful.
Because they're all going to the slot guy, and Minka's covering the slot guy the entire time. So since it's going to him, he's so good at getting around the block that's being used as a pick. So the number one receiver, whoever that is blocking the outside corner and using that block as a pick.
Right.
And he's so good at getting around it. And the D line, if I would, you could probably agree with me. If we're looking at preseason, we would have thought this team would have been gashed. And they look like it's pretty good. Like it's not, they might have a game where they get torched on the ground, but they look like they can handle themselves in a game and not make the big mistake.
Right. And That's kind of what bothers me. Not necessarily with what you said, but what I've seen a lot of on Twitter. This defense has looked so good, and we're not talking about people like Akeem Spence, Robert Quinn. McMillan looks good against the run. Baker kind of struggled, but there's so many interesting pieces on this defense that we need to talk about. We talked all offseason about, okay, Landry's gone, Sue's gone. When you're as bad as the Dolphins were in the passing game last year and on defense in general last year, why not? You blow it up. You get rid of your quote-unquote best player, and you try to rebuild with little pieces that can help build a team. Like, I saw a stat, the Dolphins, I think, finished like 32nd in defense in 2015, and they showed a stat during the game that they're already up to like 15th in the league. And that's a season and 2 games of Matt Burke. It's not like rocket science that these guys understood, like, all right, we don't have to be great, but guys like, Akeem Spence, a very underrated signing, and the drafting of Fitzpatrick, where it's like, okay, this team might be pretty goddamn good.
Pump your brakes on that.
They've allowed the least amount of points in the AFC, less than the Jaguars after 2 games.
Yeah. They're good. I mean, they look different than like I don't know, like and this is where you gotta like convince me. Like when we were talking before the show, I was texting you. I was like, I got some top Dolphin takes, and I need you to convince me. And it's because I want to see it over like a good amount. Like I want to see it after 4 games. That's all.
You're right. But
that's all. I want to see it after the 4 games because I've seen like we've kind of seen something like this in the past before. Like was it 2013 with Philbin?
Mm-hmm.
They were 3-0.
Yep.
They beat Atlanta at home. Like they've done this before, and so like that. So that's why I'm still kind of like apprehensive. Like it's like it's PTSD because
and you should be. You should.
And that's the reason why. And so you gotta like forgive me when I'm doing all this because that's how I feel about it. Like but I don't want to sound like a Debbie Downer or anything. Like I'm not urinating on it.
Right.
But like that's how I feel. Like I'm just kind of I'm just still shy and nervous about it all.
Right. It's your second middle school dance, and the first one you got nervous talking to the girl and you kind of threw up all over the place. So we're gonna ease you back into this.
Yeah. Yes.
I'm gonna throw a couple things your way. Let's start here. Derrick Henry, Dion Lewis, Bilal Powell. Are those not 3 perfect examples of running backs who would literally give the Dolphins fits in years past?
Yeah. I think Derrick Henry's the guy.
Derrick Henry was pissed off with his performance. They did nothing on the ground. The Jets' longest run yesterday, 12 yards. That's it.
Yeah, I think if the Jets were in that game a little bit more, Bilal Powell would have done more damage.
Yeah, you're probably right.
I think so, but I mean, like the test would be kind of Marshawn Lynch, right? Like stopping that, and they probably will. Like they probably will stop him. But like 2 years ago on that Monday night game, was it last year? It was last year. It was last year's Monday night game
when McCaffrey against the Panthers.
No. They played the Raiders on. Was it Sunday night or Monday night?
That was a Monday night too. You're right.
Yeah, Marshawn torched them on the ground. He had that one big run. Like he wasn't even bad or wasn't good, but like he just broke one. And so it's weird, man. It's like I just don't know what to do with myself. That's all.
Right, and it is early, and they're gonna be games that the Dolphins lose where they should win, and we're going to highlight a couple plays, whether, whatever way you want to look at it, that, okay, X, Y, and Z happens, the Dolphins win that game. But to go into New York, only have 257 total yards, to hold Bilal Powell to 5 carries for 6 yards, have their rookie quarterback throw the ball 41 times, it isn't the greatest thing. When you look at that offense, you have a note here. You wish they stomped on the Jets' throats.
That's my only complaint. That's it.
You're right. You're not going to win a football game on the road often, if ever. I don't want to say lucky because the Dolphins looked like a lot better team today. But on the road, you need to have more than 250 yards. And you can say, yeah, but, we always started with good field position. Sure. then why were we shut out in the fourth quarter? Excuse me, second half altogether. And, there are some jivey things that happened, and we could say Tannehill didn't have a horrible game, but you're right. You need to expect more. You need to do more. You need to stomp on the throat. And I want to hear your explanation for this. You said you feel like Gase is kind of holding back once they.
Yeah, it's like a theory I have. It's a theory. It's got to be the only reason. It's got to be the only reason that you're up 20-0 in the first half, and you just got to kind of be competent on offense, in the second half to win. Especially against a team like the Jets. I want to say it's against teams like the Jets, where you're better and you're confident that you're going to win. But it's got to be the only way to sit here and not put the foot on the gas, because if you go nuts and you say you drop 45 on them and it's 45-12, what you're doing though is you're showing more of that playbook,
right?
And that's the only thing I'm trying to think is why they're high is why they're not pouring 38 points on the Jets. That's got to be it, because that's why I walked away not annoyed, just kind of man, I really wish we dropped the 30 burger. We were up 20-0 in the first half. I would have been happy if we dropped 30 to 33 points. Hell, just give me 26. There's so much. It means so much more when you score 27 points in a football game. It's huge. It's indicators of team success. Yeah. It's indicators of team success. If your team scoring 27 points a game, bam, you're up there as a prolific offense and a good quality team.
There's no doubt about it. I think it's usually around 24 points. Team, something like that. So if you score 27, but I remember tweeting there was 12 minutes left in the game, and I'm just thinking to myself, all right, Dolphins just need a field goal. Go down and give me one field goal. Hit
that's all, Ben.
That's all I wanted to. No, you're right. Where the expectations really haven't been met yet on offense. There were a couple things that still kind of confused me. I mean, Tannehill is way too scared, it seems like, at times, to just let the ball rip. But the 2 sacks at the beginning of the game weren't the Lions' fault. Everyone's sitting there saying how, we have Ted Larson starting now. The Jets have a very good defensive line. Leonard Williams was a first-round pick. He's a really good player. There's going to be pressure up the middle. And it just bothers me that, people will try to defend these plays by Tannehill, where there's no doubt he should have done something differently. Another thing they're arguing about, we're going to do the Tannehill rant now. We're going to get it over with. What other people are arguing about is that Frank Gore catch for 19 yards. Instead of just celebrating the fact that they just iced the game with a first down with old man Frank Gore going 19 yards, catching a ball in his shoelaces, instead we're complaining about did Tannehill's arm get hit or not. Okay, it doesn't matter.
Huh?
They converted the play.
That's like some conspiracy stuff. I didn't even. Man, thank God I got a day job.
Dude, I've been muting people so much because if you want to argue that Tannehill's arm got hit, how about he escapes the pressure, flips around, moves out of the pocket because he had time, and it just bothers me that is what everybody was talking about. And there were so many good things happening in this game. Topher, do you have any Tannehill thoughts before we kind of just bury this for the rest of the show?
I think he's still shaking off some rust.
Mm-hmm.
His brain's not processing things fast enough on certain things. And maybe he's just not used to having pressure up the middle in a while. He hasn't played football in a season, since 2017, 2016. And so he hasn't played that. And so he hasn't seen that pressure in a while, real pressure, not preseason training camp pressure. His first game back with Josh Sitton, he didn't have it.
Right.
And so that's the one thing is maybe he's just not used to it, and if he's good, he'll adjust and he'll figure it out.
Mm-hmm.
He's also got to get rid of the ball faster a lot of times. My big one, and this could have changed my whole thought of the game, was you got to complete the pass to Albert Wilson. This entire offense does this dink and dunk stuff where it's just quick outs, quick slants, 5 yards and make a move and turn it into 10.
Right. You
got to complete that pass to Albert Wilson. That's it. When you're wide open like that and he has a guy beat like that, you got to do that stuff. That's ices games. That makes your stats look better, that like changes the perception of who you are as a quarterback, not just to the fans, but to national stuff, because he has 2 touchdowns and, through 2 games, he just looks like a game manager. And your argument is that, yeah, these are the guys you need around him for him to be good enough.
Mm-hmm.
And, and that's it. Like, yeah, like, just complete that pass. And he's shown that he can, so I'm not worried about it. And get rid of the ball faster. And that could just come with rust that he still has some rust. Like, it's, you got to give it time.
Right. And I'm not trying to sit here and bash him. He had really good runs. But you're right in the sense of it's a dink and dunk offense, because another thing I saw on Twitter was, well, the Dolphins are like, I think it was like 7-13 or something on yards per completion. So much of that comes after the catch. I thought it was awesome how we have Wilson running in for a touchdown and Amendola getting the shit knocked out of him, and he held onto the ball.
He came back. He ripped his he got his throat concussed.
Yeah,
not his head. His throat was concussed.
I think it was just a massive wind knocked out of him. You're over here tweeting that he broke his collarbone.
Yeah, it looked like that. And by the way, everybody else thought that too. Like when you take a shot like that, you think he's broke his collarbone. Well, it was nice, Danny Amendola. But yeah, he just took a shot and he got up. And I should have tweeted it. It was recklessly on my end. I should have tweeted it. But you're watching it and and it just he was shaking hands. And so I don't think you break your collarbone and you're able to shake hands.
Yeah, I think he was moving both arms when he was on the ground. Yeah, my first, I was all right, just wind knocked out of him. I don't know if that's me trying to think positively or what. But that's the difference between a team that looks like a dink and dunk offense and a team that is decent is those broken tackles. The fact Albert Wilson can, run for 29 yards after catching a 4-yard pass, something like that. The one thing I really liked, the one play I really liked from Tannehill, I saw it mostly on this play, and I wish I saw it on a couple of sacks. That AJ Derby throw, that
was an amazing throw. That took forever to happen because he had so much protection.
It was great, and that was I can't think of the last time I saw his feet looked so great in the pocket. He's hopping around, and the second he plants and throws, I can't think of the last time I thought this, but I was like, this is going to be a touchdown. If he can fire it like that, it's going to be a freaking touchdown. And the one thing about that play that upsetted me, upsetted, I don't give a shit. When I saw the jersey number and it was 85 instead of 86, I'm not going to lie.
Yeah, that man, yeah, I want Gesicki to be good. I want him to play, I want that, pumped up feeling of, hell yeah, our rookie tight end is a goddamn beast.
Right.
You know what I mean? You want that. It's so easy to see it.
Mm-hmm.
And and you want that. And so when it's Derby, I was like, crap. Man, I wish you dropped it.
No.
Gesicki. No, I would have took it. No. But yeah, you want Gesicki to be that guy making that catch. It's so deflating seeing Derby. It's like Joey Hanos catching it.
Yep.
Or you know what I mean?
That's
Anthony Pisano.
That's such a great name for this.
It's Anthony Pisano catching a touchdown pass.
Right.
You're I'll take it.
Yeah, I'm cool with it. And if Derby ends up with 7 touchdowns on the year, great. But I mean, it's just you want your young guy. If you could have him have 5 or 6 touchdowns, you have Minka. Did you see what Minka today? He put in.
Yeah, I saw that.
He put in a claim for the title Fitz Magic. Which
it's so weird. It's so stupid. I'll say it. I'm not calling you Fitz Magic.
I will. Actually, we need to talk. I found another nickname.
We need to
Minka.
talk. Okay.
We need he's just so great. We are the Minka fanboys of the Dolphins, Twitter. We are all about Minka Fitzpatrick. If anyone else tries to say they like Minka more than us, they're full of shit.
They're full of caca.
Exactly, because I have a third nickname for him. So we have Gronk Stopper, Minka Sixpatrick for when he has that first pick 6. I already have that saved in my drafts in 4 different tweets. And then yesterday, it was a pass deep to the end zone in the corner. I think it was going to Quincy Enunwa. And I don't know how, if the sun was, beaten down a certain way, but he looked wide open to me. I'm like, oh no. And then I just see the ball, bounce away. And then I see Minka coming out of nowhere, just, throwing his arms in the air. His new name is Blanket. I couldn't even see him. He had the receiver covered so well. He's awesome. You will not find a better rookie than this guy.
He's legit. He's legit. Like, it's I was thinking about this on the way home. Like, man, they could not have hit a better draft pick. Because it does. It's not just like he's playing nickel. It's just the stuff he's doing when he's on the field in general. Like, it's just find a spot for him, and let's see what happens. And he's great at it. Like, that secondary, like, since Bob McKinney, I have zero issues with the secondary except, like, you know, actually no, my only issue is it's Raekwon McMillan.
He's an issue for you?
Yeah, he looks lost in pass. He looks lost in pass. You know, when like the middle of the field's getting torn up. Like, let's just put Jerome Baker out there.
Baker
and
hasn't looked too great at it either. I think it's just they're both young. I think that's going to take time, and having a great secondary really makes up for it. And I thought of the greatest. I was listening to the game yesterday, and I thought of the greatest way to define T.J. McDonald. He's a lineman in a linebacker's body playing safety. Because I think you either tweeted or texted this, but on the interception, there's a point where he looked like he was going so freaking slow.
Yeah. He didn't look like he didn't know what to do with it. He looked like an overweight defensive end. Like, he's like, what do I do with my hands? Like, what do I do with this? And so that's what it looked like to me, is he looked like he wasn't used to doing stuff like that. But, yeah, like, I mean, it's just the middle of the field at times, and that it looks very vulnerable. And we saw it towards towards the end of the second quarter when the Jets were actually getting some drives, and they just ended up crapping it down their throats by throwing picks and fumbles and all that stuff. But yeah, it's weird. I just wish the team was a little bit more explosive.
Right.
But they're 2-0, and I'll take it. Like, I'm not gonna sit here and I'd rather have a 1-1 team.
Dude, do you remember that? It was the Redskins game to open the year a couple years ago, and it was like such a freaking bad game. I think it was 2015, and there were people tweeting, I'd rather have a good loss instead of this win. And I'm just like, how dumb can you be? How dumb can you be? The secondary looks great. Big Zach Bob's freaking awesome. He is awesome. Akeem Spence was a great signing. Jordan Phillips ate Darnold on one play. That was freaking. He rattled him for the rest of that drive. It was clear. There were times when you could tell Darnold's a rookie, and I'm not gonna sit here and say Darnold sucks. I think he's gonna be a good quarterback. They have.
I'd be so happy if I was the Jets.
Yep. You know it's not gonna happen this year. It never happens year one. And
no.
And I'm gonna rant about this for a second, but I don't want to get too much into it. The quarterbacks, whether it be Goff, Wentz, now Darnold, the younger guys now, Baker Mayfield, they're not going to come in and play well, but at the same time, if they do, say they light the world on fire, it does not necessarily mean year 2 will be as good, or year 3. It could be a one-hit wonder, where that's why I'm kind of okay with Tannehill, because you know what you're getting. It's like when you go to the same restaurant over and over and over, and you order the same food because you know exactly how it's going to be cooked, exactly how it's going to taste, and you're just kind of okay with it, especially when the defense is looking this good. Having the rookies play well like that, it just gives you hope that all right, all we got to do is just build around him and we'll be good. But look at Deshaun Watson too. He can't beat the Titans. He looks like I don't. That's I guess the other end of it is you have a guy who balls out in limited action last year, and then he comes back from an injury, and he's what is it? What is it? Rust? We don't know. And only time will tell. But as of right now, if I'm a Jet fan, I feel pretty optimistic that if I just build around it, I'll be fine. No doubt.
You're better than the Bills, right? Better than the Bills. The Bills. You couldn't pay me to watch a Bills game. Ugh. Dude, you couldn't pay me. You're so bad. You have players quitting at halftime. And it's Vontae Davis, which is the best part.
Freaking awesome, dude. It's time is a flat circle. All this shit always comes back. And I'll end it with this. I'm not saying
no. We're not done yet.
No, I just mean the QB talk. I just mean I'm not saying Watson's gonna be a bust or Wentz is gonna be a bust, but it's so hard to be consistently good in the NFL as a quarterback where you can't crown a guy or, throw a guy in the trash after one game, 1 year, even 2 years. There's so many factors where we all just gotta chill.
Yeah, that's the best part. You just gotta chill. But what did we got into this little thing last night over the text about Devontae Parker.
What's his name?
What? I don't even know what you PTP or part-time Parky.
Pouty Parker. I was thinking
Pouty Parker. Okay. What we wanted to discuss was Parker out of line for saying that he was upset that he didn't play or that he wasn't active. You said that it should be about the team and he should kind of like just deal with it because the team won. Well, I'm like, my view is that he wanted to play. Like he practiced all week and he finds out last minute that he's not playing.
He didn't find out last minute. I just read an article that he knew Saturday night. Gase was like,
that's last minute. That's last minute.
Okay. Well, fine. Let's even say it's last minute. Why should we listen to Devontae Parker about anything? Why should we side with the guy who would rather who we mentioned it before where, Kenny Stills is telling him to eat healthy and you still got to baby the guy, it seems like. And why does that change now that he decided he wanted to play? It's in New York. You don't know how that game is going to go. Their cornerbacks ain't bad. Their safeties aren't bad. So all of a sudden he gets hit once, he's injured again, and it's a whole different thing. Instead, we'll wait till the Raiders at home, get hyped up. It just seems like, dude, like it's not. This is the game you're finally upset you didn't play after 5 seasons of being quote unquote injury prone, where Gase has called you out for not wanting to, fight through injuries. The fact that you want to play now is great, but your team just won in New York. You've already been out with injuries. Be happy for the win and be ready to play next week.
I guess. I mean, I could totally see why you look at it that way. Like, I get it. Like, I just look at it like if I broke my finger and I practiced all week, I'd want to play. Like, I want to get in on that.
For sure.
I want to get in on catching touchdown passes. I want to get in that I think I can help the offense be better.
Devontae Parker had 1 touchdown reception last year.
Yeah, and I'm sure that has to do with it as well. Like, I just think it's like a good selfish that like, he wants to get in on that action and make a difference and make the team better.
I'm 100% cool with that, and I 100% agree. He could even say he wish he played. Say it on Tuesday. Don't come out right after the win and say, "Oh, I wish I played," because now that's a complaint about the team. Your receivers are probably sitting there like, dude, like, we got your back. Get healthy. And, like, this is the one time we're kind of giving him leeway. Like, all right, he's got a broken finger. Sammy Coates, we talked about this on the podcast, too. The great games he had with broken fingers. And now Parker still missed week 1. I don't know. I get, like, him wanting to play. I want him to say he wants to play. But you can't be pissing on your parade right after you beat a division rival in their home stadium.
I get it. I totally understand it. I want to ask you a couple things before we wrap.
For sure. I'm actually, right. If we go a little long, I'm cool with it. We're 2-0. Let's have some fun with it. I'm sure no one's going to hate listening to another 10 minutes of Dolphins talk.
All right. So what'd you think of the picture at the end of when Albert Wilson scored, the group photo?
Oh my God. I love the Tannehill finger guns. Have you seen that video where it's a bunch of kids dabbing? And then the kid. Yeah.
It's the white guy doing the dab. That's Tannehill's the white kid doing the dab.
Yes.
I mean, I'm looking at it right now, and okay, I don't mean to get all racial, but all the white people are in the background.
Well, all the
you got Gesicki just throwing up like some weird fingers. Yeah, you got Gesicki throwing up some weird hands. You got like Danny Amendola in the top left is there, probably trying to fix his throat. Whoever this captain is in the background, I don't know who that is. I can't see it. And then you got Tannehill on the right. He just kind of looks like he's just like a weird smile. Like, I don't know. It's great though. It's awesome. Like, it's cool as hell.
Yeah, I'm cool.
It's Jesse Davis in the background.
Because there's another picture where Tannehill got in there. I think he's. Yeah.
There's two. There's the one, the front and center one. There's another one that's slightly to the left. I just think it looks cool, man. Like, it's just cool. Like, they're having fun out there.
Yeah.
And that's it.
I have no problem. Like, my banner on Twitter now is Tannehill giving the finger guns to them because I'm a big finger guns guy. You've seen the GIF.
I want to make that into a picture. I want to, that's like a cool-ass picture you could print out and, put it somewhere or, make it a phone background.
Exactly. And yeah, no, because he's finally we talk about we spoke about this in the preseason too, and we keep coming back to this stuff. We're becoming #I told you so guys. But he's finally getting out of his shell. He's still not doing everything we want him to do, but Tannehill's out of his shell. The more he has fun, the more he might start slinging it. I'm so cool with it.
Second question. What do you make of the stat that Ryan Tannehill is 18-7 in games he throws 30 passes or fewer? That's Armando Salguero tweeted that. What do you think of that?
I just think that boils down to the fact that when you are behind, you throw the ball more.
Okay. What did you think about the Dolphins sign? It was a CBS graphic last night or during the Dolphin game that said, "Running with a porpoise. Notable Dolphins best record 40-yard dash time. Best recorded," and it had all the Dolphins speed on it. What do you think of the title, "Running with a Porpoise"?
My answer might be kind of like, I don't know, might not be what you're looking for, but since it got you so angry, I love it. I freaking love it.
I saw it, and I was like, are we freaking doing this?
Like, God damn it. Like, something like that. Oh, before you ask your next question, can we talk about, I heard this during the broadcast, quote-unquote, the headless Alonzo? Like,
what?
They called him the headless Alonzo because he just freaking just runs right at people. How long till he gets flagged? You think?
It'll be soon. I think it'll be, probably New England. I think they'll let him slide one more game, and then he's getting flagged.
Because I saw that Clay Matthews roughing the passer on Kirk Cousins yesterday, and I saw Kiko just smoking dudes, and I'm like, I ain't gonna bring this up. I ain't gonna talk about this. Keep doing it. If you don't get flagged, keep doing it.
Yeah. And then another question is, do you think they'll go ahead and do you think that they'll score 30 points against the Ravens?
Against the
Ravens? Fuck it. Do you think they'll score 30 points against the Raiders?
I do. I am so. We'll have our preview later this week. You know, this is the morning after Monday QB article. I am so excited to see the Raiders come across the country, play at 10 a.m. their time in that Miami Heat. I am so excited to see how, Derek Carr's not having a great year. The offense, doesn't look good. Gruden's got his back against the wall, and he has to come face the team that's given up the least amount of points in the AFC. I'm all for it.
Yeah, I'm pumped. And this is the Dolphins are so good at this. We're I care about them so much, and I enjoy watching them so much that each time they win, the build up to the next game for me is huge.
Mm-hmm.
That if it's 3-0 going into New England, I'm going to feel like it's the Super Bowl, where it's all I think about for the week. Last question, Josh Gordon to the Patriots. How terrified are you?
If we go just on names and you read the sentence Josh Gordon on the Patriots, it scares the crap out of me. But there's so much more involved. So many receivers have gone to New England where they say this is gonna break the league. What happened to the guy they drafted in the 7th round out of Miami that everyone said this is the next Wes Welker?
Barrios.
What happened to that? What happened to all those tweets? Where are all those?
I think he's established, and it kind of fits the Randy Moss profile of trading nothing and getting something in return that could change the season. It's not like their season's changed. It's just going to be him and Julian Edelman on top of having Gronk.
He says he makes it to the field though. The report is that he has a hamstring. So
it's the talent that kind of scares me. That's all.
Yeah, no.
But you got Xavier on the outside, and you got Minka stopping Edelman. So who gives a crap?
That's what I'm screaming. I'm gonna end with this one more. I told you so. Dolphins went no huddle on 5 plays yesterday, and all 5 plays were passes. Remember last week we talked about how they went no huddle and ran it and got stuffed?
Oh, you know what? You brought it up. I'm not done. I got some more takes.
Oh, boy.
Can we stop it with these halfback counters out of shotgun that go for 2 yards? It's so aggravating when they get some yardage and they go right back to back no huddle halfback draws or halfback counters out of shotgun to Kenyon Drake or Frank Gore.
Mm-hmm. No, you're right. Just pick a hole and go for it. I know counters are great, once in a while.
It's just I don't know. I feel like it's too cute. It's too cute.
Right, especially if it don't overcomplicate things if things are going your way. P.S. Not a single flag on the offensive line yesterday. That might be. If you were to tell me how many flags were on the offensive line through weeks 3 through 17, I'm 85% confident I could predict the outcome of that game.
Do you think this is the game that Cam Wake decides to show up and play football?
Dude, he's
in
so
a non-disrespectful way. I don't mean that to be mean.
you know me. I've been on that hill for a while. We should have traded Cam Wake. Yada yada. I'd love to see it. Don't get me wrong.
What?
I said this in 2015. They should have traded him then.
Yeah, well, we get that. In fairness to you, there's that discussion every year when they kind of fall out of contention.
Right. Yeah, and I don't know. I don't get me wrong. There's nothing I'd love to see more than Cam Wake get a bunch of sacks on a winning football team. But we have.
He's on a winning football team right now.
He is, and he only has 2 tackles and only 1 solo tackle.
He'll wake up. He'll have that game where it's just
Nice
it'll probably be next week or New England. Like he gets in. She's very streaky.
Will Cameron wake up? Nice.
I'm gonna kill myself.
Make sure you let the Dolphins beat the Raiders first. Do it going into the Patriots week, so that way you won't be upset if that game goes how we assume it will.
What, Dolphins winning? Or are we getting too far ahead of ourselves?
Topher, fins up.
Fins up.